Well, I guess first of all, you know, why do this tour? Why open the process up to the media today?
Well, superheroes sometimes don't wear capes. Sometimes they wear lab coats. We wanted to explain to the public how we support law enforcement, how we're fighting back against crime, against gun violence, to highlight the changes that we're making to try to make Ohioans safer.
Can you highlight any specific changes that you've made? I mean,
yeah.
We're seeing obviously another surge in gun violence, especially among youth in Cincinnati. The governor's announcing some new initiatives in Cleveland here this week. What are you doing here? What changes are you making here?
So, what?
Oh, sorry.
If you lean back just a little, you're out of the sun. So if you scoop.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, I think that'd be better too.
Sorry, thanks.
Sorry. So, we're dramatically expanding the scientists and the equipment to do firearms ballistics. It's called NIBIN. It's a national computer database, kind of like DNA for guns, if you will, and looks at the ballistic signature that we collect on shell casings that are left at the scene sometimes, or that we test from a gun, or the slugs that we recover from a victim, or the crime scene around them. That leads us to the people who are committing these gun crimes so we can take them off the streets. That's important, not just by way of punishment, but because a small number of people do most of the violent crimes. They repeatedly act out and use these guns. So this initiative with NIBIN and expanding our capacity in Ohio is going to lead to not only more data, but more connection of the dots between that data. Bottom line is, we're coming after the folks that are doing the gun violence, and we're going to put them away.
I don't have the number off the top of my head, and maybe you do, but I know that there was a significant increase for the lab in this last 2-year budget. Do you have the number, and you know what is that going to go towards?
Yeah, we can get the number for you on the finance. Yeah.
Okay. You know, I got a firsthand look at how behind the scenes can help crack a very difficult case. I was there day in, day out for the Pike County trial. And as much as the investigators on the scene, you know, collecting the evidence and whatever, it turned out that the case really turned on evidence that was either guided to or analyzed and linked to the Wagners by people here. You know, the gun experts, the data experts, and so forth. You want to talk about that a little bit and how, you know, this building, these people are here to help the smaller towns and the smaller communities that don't have the resources for things like that. Maybe even talk about Pike County a little bit and how this place helped break that case.
So, ballistics computers, DNA labs, intelligence analytics, these things cost a lot of money. And if you're a small town police department or a small county like Pike County in the Wagner case, you simply don't have the money or the people to be able to do those functions. That's why BCI exists. We're here to support those functions at the local level. And because we're state, we have enough resources and enough demand to support it. You know, a case like the Wagner case in Pike County, they're never going to have another case like that. They couldn't possibly staff up with enough expertise to be able to come in and connect all those dots that led back to the Wagners.
And would you also say, you know, at least from what we saw in the media from the stand, you know, I forget his name, he's got the long beard, he's the gun analyst, he reconstituted the guns they found inside the buckets, right, and
right.
made them fire, and was able to prove that they were indeed the ones that possibly killed the rodents. The woman who found the receipt for the shoes in the bucket knew what she was looking for. I mean, things like that. I mean, they're the ones that kind of built the case. You know, I mean, sure you have Agent Scheider, who was agent in charge, but the people behind the scenes are the really really the ones that help build that case, don't you think?
Exactly. We still have police officers, interviewers that go out and do the investigation and who do witness interviews and interviews with defendants. But there's a huge difference when you walk in and you've got that linkage of the purchases on Amazon for the stuff that was found at the scene, or when you have the ballistics that link the gun found on the property or in the possession of the bad guy to the bullets that were used. That changes the dynamic of the interview completely, and it helps direct everything else.
You talked about the tracking of the guns helping with the violence problems in some of the cities, but you've also been a staunch Second Amendment advocate. Is there a conflict there, and do you think that the ability of law enforcement to track these guns should be expanded? And what is your thought on reducing the access to some of these guns? Because the cities, when I talk to officials on the city level, they say, hey, we're hamstrung because we can only do so much. We can't pass laws ourselves because of what's happening in Columbus, and we can't investigate as far as we want to because of the limits we have.
So at the outset, I would say if a city law could take care of gun violence, Chicago would be the safest city in the country. They've got draconian gun laws there, and they've been to the Supreme Court over them. Gun laws are not the solution. The solution is enforcing the law against people who are not exercising Second Amendment right. They're committing crimes. Put them in jail, get them off the streets. That's the solution, and that's what we're working on here at BCI. It's what I, as Attorney General, am focused on.
Do you also, I know several years back there were complaints of backlogs here at the lab, especially with rape kits and some other investigations. Do you feel like you're caught up? Do you feel like those have been cleared? And do you feel like, you have the capacity now to handle the demand that's coming in from throughout the state?
Well, with respect to firearms, we've beefed it up. We actually have extra capacity in anticipation of the greater demand as we publicize and educate officers about this.
Hey there! Yeah, you could stop watching right now, but let's be honest, you don't want to do that. Hit the links or click subscribe to see more amazing content from all of us here at Local 12.